and welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of A New Go of New Home Sales. I'm your host, Anya Chrysanthon, and joining me today is Steph Reed. Steph is a licensed realtor, and she is also the owner of Partners by Design Homes. So welcome to the show, Steph. I'm so excited to have you on today.
Thank you, Anya. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
So, Steph, we'd like to kick things off by giving our listeners a little bit of a backstory of who you are. Although I do think a lot of people know you in our industry, but for those who may not be familiar with Steph Reed, give us your story. How did you end up in home building?
My story kind of goes back to my childhood. My father was a contractor. And so through my high school years, especially, and even late junior high, I played so many sports and stuff. It was especially like AAU ball and stuff like that. It was really hard to get a job and make any kind of money. So one of the things my father offered me was the opportunity to work with him. So I learned how to do drywall and lots of wallpaper back in those days. And it was an awesome experience because I also got an awesome relationship with my father. I learned a lot about hard work and a lot about just a couple of different trades there. And so I did that with him off and on throughout my high school years and junior high years. And then fell in love, got married after school, after high school and stuff, and had our children, moved to Iowa, stayed home with my kids for about 12 years. And while during that time, I was going to nursing school. Got down to my last RN class and decided that it was too emotional. That's not really what I wanted to do. And so I get involved with things that deal with people's money, right? Crazy. No.
Right, I was
But
gonna say
anyway,
emotional. You're talking home building here, Steph.
I
What's
know, right?
emotional?
And people take their money way more serious than they take their health. I can promise you that. But it was just really hard to watch other people not go home to somebody, and lose them in the hospital, and just how life or death it really was. So it was just not for me. My husband encouraged me to go get my real estate license. And so I did it in the most perfect time, '09, right in the middle of, of a bad crash. So I just decided that if I could do it during that time, when it turned around, when the market turned around, I'd be set. And so the next thing, market turns around, things are going great. But my first homes that I set in and sold were for builders. And one builder in particular said, "Hey, how do you know what's behind the walls? And how did you know what to tell those people?" And I said, "My father was a contractor and I grew up learning about construction and being inside houses while they were being built and all that stuff." And so it didn't take long for us to develop a good relationship where I represented his homes and basically do all the same things that I do today on my own. I just did it for his company. And it was a great experience for me. So that's the long and short story of how I got to building. And then about 7 years ago, 8 years ago, I went out on my own. And he wanted to go a different direction and basically retire. And I was feeling the passion to go prove that I can do it myself. So that's what I did.
And you did. Good job. I'm so excited for that. Congratulations on your success. And so right now you are in Iowa market, right? So I would love to talk a little bit about your market, what you're seeing as far as home building, real estate goes. So if you can give us like a quick little overview of what types of homes you typically build, who are your clients, what are the challenges that you're seeing? Are things going great? What are you seeing?
So I'm almost strictly custom. I hardly ever do a spec. When I first started, I did one spec, but ever since then, I've just done custom homes, and I keep it low key and small because I like to give them the full experience. I truly believe that a true custom home builder allows people to make changes along the way, allows them to be on site every day if they want to, allows them to be a part of the process. That's why, hence my name was Partners by Design Homes. I wanted them to feel like we were partners in designing and building their house, and that they have a sense of pride when they do that. With it also comes a lot of extra work, right? Because you're giving them the opportunity to make changes, you're giving them the opportunity to be on site and ask questions along the way and make changes and stuff as they go. So that's what I do there. I do help a lot of people also buy the land ahead of time that we put those customs on eventually. Most of my clients don't come see me at 6 months out. They come and find me a year or two, maybe even 3 years in advance. And we just start working together, finding the right, because land, as a house is a house, but land is special. Like finding that right place to put that dream home is a big deal. And lots are hard to come by, especially in our market that have any size. And a lot of the people that I work with tend to want their own land. So right now I'm working with people. I just helped a couple of different people secure acreages that we can now work on their plan, which is what we're doing and designing and getting them ready to go in the ground. And occasionally I will work with somebody that has a lot that they buy in a subdivision, and we design and build on that, which is what I'm getting ready to break ground on any day now, on a new custom with that. And then I also started doing some remodeling. That's my new thing this year. I used to help people design it and help them with their picks and choices, and then I would pass it off. And then people say, "Why do you always pass it off?" And I'm like, I don't really know why I always pass it off. So I'm starting to do that too. And we just broke ground. Well, we actually got foundation in and stuff on an addition, plus a whole remodel of someone's house that I helped them buy the house. And so that's where my real estate license really does come in handy, is knowledge of the industry, and then being able to help them also sell maybe their other homes as well. And just knowing that the same person is helping them throughout the transitions.
And then as far as the real estate market in your area, so you're in Iowa. Where in Iowa are you?
I'm right in the Des Moines area. I live in Ankeny, but I service the entire Des Moines area within about an hour radius with my building and with real estate.
Mhm. And what are you seeing as far as real estate market? Take it from 2 years ago versus now. How has the market changed for you? Is it hot? Is it not? What challenges are you seeing, like pricing wise? What's going on in your market?
So I would say if you're talking 2 years from now, when things really took off and went crazy, it was lines down the street waiting to get into the same house, and lots of buyers and multiple offers and going way over asking price on stuff that, normally would not go for very much. And now all of a sudden that market took off. If you're talking new construction side, and that's resale. If you're talking new construction side, money was cheap, right? When the interest rates were low. So people were going whole hog on their house. They were doing it all. They were putting them in. I would say our average client was probably in their mid to upper 30s. And those people they had half cash, and they were buying and building anywhere from 500 to $800,000 houses, and that doesn't even include their lots. So it was eye opening to think about these people being so savvy with their money and being able to be in this position where they could do that. But not just them, a lot of people were able to get houses that before they could never have. We've definitely seen a change, obviously, just like I think everybody else across the country has. We are not seeing lines down the block or anything like that. We are still seeing some homes pop really quick and sell, and some of them selling with a few multiple offers, but it's a lot fewer and farther between. And it's certainly within a certain price level, mostly those first time home buyers. And I think a lot of it is, as things have gotten a little bit higher, hopefully that's taken some of the investors out, because that was also another big thing. The investors they had cash, they didn't care. And they still have cash and they don't care. So they're buying. I get it as an investor. I love that. We all need to make our way. But it's just nice when especially first time home buyers get the opportunity to buy a house without having the prices skyrocket on them. But a lot of first time home buyers honestly are just squeezed out of the market right now, because the
Mhm.
interest rates are just so high and they don't have that kind of cash to compete. I would say the market numbers are definitely coming down a little bit, but I wouldn't say we're definitely not seeing like they pulled the rug out from underneath us. It's almost like, I would say my personal opinion is that it's more like a correction, more like we've gone back to, okay, it takes 30 days to 90 days to sell a home, as opposed to 3 hours and 20 minutes with 15 offers. So that's what we're seeing. I would say some of the resale prices are finally coming down a little bit, but some of that they probably needed to. They were banking off of new construction pricing going up so high because the cost to build was so high with materials. So we're seeing a little bit of change in that. And as far as building, I would say people are pulling back a little bit on that as well, mostly because of interest rates. But we're seeing a little better pricing's not going super high right now, but you've just got there's certain things that are just always seem to be rising. And it's not lumber this time, which is great, but there's other things out there that still keep rising. And I can't figure out, none of us can figure out why, but it just does. And it's usually from where they're getting the materials and things like that. So unfortunately, I don't see that we're going to be seeing like cheap housing or anything like that for a long time. I think we're still stuck at the mercies of, this is how much it costs to build a house. And that's just how much it costs.
Yeah, and it's definitely one of the biggest challenges that we're going to be talking to our legislators when we go to DC is housing affordability. And I was wondering on your end, I know transformers has been one of the biggest issues for a lot of builders. Is that something you're seeing on your end?
No, not anymore. There was a bit of a time that there were some developers that had problems, but we're really not seeing that anymore. And I actually just talked to our rep here at a board meeting yesterday, and he said that they're not really seeing any issues around here like that with those like you're seeing in other places across the country. So we're blessed. I will say Iowa, the beautiful thing about being in the center of the country is a lot of times you're a little insulated from some of the other things that are happening in the much bigger metropolitan areas on the coasts and things like that.
That's good to hear. And Steph, I'm
Yes.
curious, where do you get most of your clients? Like, as far as marketing, what is working for you right now? What's the number one source for your leads?
I think the number one source for my leads is almost it's gosh, it's almost more than 75% is referral.
Mhm.
And that comes from my relationships with other real estate agents who have known me for the past 15 years that bring their clients to me and seen my products. And then also people that I've built for because I stay smaller and only do a few houses a year, like four or less, generally speaking. That also is enticing to some people because they want to feel like they're the only ones. So once that word gets out from other people about that, I do a lot of repeat business too. I mean, my real estate business is almost all repeat clients, which I am so blessed to have for sure. And I feel very grateful to have that.
Yeah, it's definitely the best way, the cheapest way to acquire clients. And obviously, you're keeping your clients happy, which is what you're supposed to do as a home builder. So, great job on that, Steph. And
Thanks.
if I mean, for you as a woman to start your own home building company, there's still such a minority in our industry for females in general, but especially home builders. What were some of the biggest lessons you learned when you were starting out? And if you could do it all over again, would it be like one thing, I wish I knew that, or I wish I would have done that differently? Was there like a thing that you're like, "Ah, somebody should have told me that sooner"?
I don't know if I would I'm trying to think if I would really change anything. I don't know that I would. I believe that my journey is my journey, and I believe we all have our journeys. I believe even the negative things I'm taking with me to make them try to turn them to make them positive. I also am that person that believes I never stop learning. If you stop learning, you're done. It's time to get out. And I believe as long as I'm learning and enjoying it, and my clients, and I'm able to give my clients what they need and want, then I'm on the right track. I don't know everything. No one out there does. The thing I love most about building is that it doesn't stay the same. There's always something different. Now, I wish some of the codes and stuff would simmer down because that adds cost to the houses that people don't understand, but that's another thing that we can talk about at legislative as we will. But I would say I think the one thing I probably would do if just looking back now is I don't know. I guess I tried to find females, and that's how I got into the HBA. So it was going back and trying to find the group of females, but otherwise, there just really isn't. We represent less than 12%. I think here in my local area, I think now there are probably maybe 5 or 6 female builders in my area, which is great, but that might even be pushing it. It might be less than that. But when I started this, I only knew of one other real female builder that owned their own company. Everybody else was an exactor or something like that in a much bigger family owned company or things like that. Not that they don't have knowledge, not that they're not wonderful, but it was just different for someone like me being small and doing it all myself. I am a one girl shop. I design it, I build it. I'm my own superintendent, my own project manager, the liaison for the clients, all of it. It's just a little bit different. And to find someone else that has that is really hard.
Right. And so, Steph, you and I met a few years ago through PWB, so Professional Women in Building, on the national level. We're both involved. So, I would love to hear your story of getting to that. So, obviously, you come to the meetings, I see you at the meetings. A lot of our listeners may not even know, what you refer to HBA, like what are all those things? Can you break it down for us from like the local, the state, the national level? Why are you part of it? Why do you come to these meetings? What are you getting out of it? Like, just give us a little bit of a story of how and why.
Sure. So when I got done with my very first spec home, again, I looked around and I was like, I've had all these amazing men mentoring me and supporting me, encouraging me, and telling me I can do it. But there was no sisters to share it with. And that was when it really dawned on me that I really was a minority here. And before that, it never dawned on me. I wasn't raised that way. My family, I even had a shirt when I was a kid that said, anything a boy can do, I can do better. I'm just that kid that just gender did not matter to me. I'm going to get something done. You can't tell me I can't do it because I'm a girl. I'm just going to go do it and not worry about it. But when I got done with that first house, I realized that I didn't, it just seemed like something was missing. So I called the Home Builders Association, which is the HBA of Des Moines. And I talked to some people there that I knew. And I said, hey, you know, where are the women? And they were like, it's funny you mentioned that. We were just thinking about starting up our own professional women in building council. And I said, what do I got to do to make that happen and help you? And they said, well, you got to serve as our first chair. So I got to be the original chairperson. And what amazing blessing. I have so much to owe to my local HBA in Des Moines and to professional women in building, both at the local and the national level, for just finding my tribe, really, that was supportive and awesome to share stuff with. And so once we got that going, we went from 12 women and now we have 90 women in our group. And that was in 2018, I believe, 2017. I can't remember the exact year. We've won national awards for Council of the Year 3 year or 2 years in a row. And we've won, for our Girls in Construction Camp, we won first place. We won for some fun other things that we've done. We have our own activity book that we created years ago that we've shared across the country, and people have been able to put their own logos on and distribute it. And we won first place for that, and just so many other things. Then that I started attending meetings at National before all that. And then as I was doing that, they asked if I would be interested in serving on the National Professional Women in Building Board. And I was like, sure, awesome. So I started doing that and I did that for 3 years. And again, amazing experience. I have met so many amazing women and I feel like I have friends for life and support for life. And I think, as a lot of us say all the time, is that this is such an amazing group. And you know what? It's where a lot of women have gotten their start and climbing things within the Home Builders Association, both local, state, and nationally. It's just been such a wonderful opportunity for me to find other people that look like me and think like me and are moms and are all the things that I am too on the other side, but also that I'm a builder and that I'm in this industry and that I'm super passionate also about making sure other women know that this is an option for them. That is something that I spend a lot of time on, and we spend a lot of time on at Professional Women in Building on all levels, to make sure that we're spreading the word to other women that we need you, we want you, there's a place for you here. You fit here too. It's not a guys club, it's for all of us. And that's what I would want them to all to know.
That's right. And so, Steph, if somebody's listening to this and they're like, huh, I've never heard about professional women in building, or how do I get involved? How do I get more information? What would you say is the best way to go about that?
First thing I would do is reach out to your local home builders association and see if they have a chapter. Because if they do, that's going to be the one that you're going to be able to participate in the most, right, on a regular basis. And then if they do, that's great. Then you automatically should become a member of national. But then I would start making sure that you're attending these national meetings, whether it's in person the 3 times a year or if it's online, which they have meetings every month for various committees and things like that, whether it's membership or workforce development, all those things, which is awesome. They can get involved. There's something for everyone. You don't have to do it all. You don't have to be crazy like me. I'm involved in everything. And I love that. That's Mach 2 with my hair on fire is my favorite speed. You got to be crazy to do that. And I'm crazy and I'm okay with that. But not everybody needs to be crazy to be involved. It just takes you, even if you're just sitting in and listening and being inspired and sharing it with somebody else, you're still making a difference and helping it grow.
Absolutely. I'm a huge proponent of being involved. And again, it not just benefits you as a person, because again, of all the friendships that we share, but also professionally, it helps you grow, it helps you develop. And you know, again, for me, it's always all about connections and networking, and all of my opportunities came from somebody saying, hey, you'd be great for that. Have you tried this? Have you thought about this? And for me, if you can invest in networking, it's the best thing you can do is invest in relationships. Speaking of relationships, when I was thinking about applying for the NAHB Leadership Academy, I was like, I need a letter of recommendation. Who do I go to? I was like, oh, Steph Reed. Maybe Steph can help me out and write a recommendation for me. So I was very excited to see that you were also accepted into the National Association of Home Builders Leadership Academy first inaugural class, our first cohort of 15 individuals. So Steph, tell us a little bit about the program and what does it mean to you, and why did you decide to be a part of that program?
First off, Anya, you deserve to be there. And I was honored to get to write that for you. So thank you for making me feel so special to get to do that for you. So just so you know, I think you're fantastic. There are so many amazing men and women that deserve to be part of that program. And so I feel very honored, just like I know you do, to get to be in the first inaugural class. For me, it was being encouraged by others. I have a lot of friends who have been doing this a long time at the national level, a lot of mentors, and I have left myself open to them as far as just trying to absorb as much as possible. And when they say, hey, this is what I think you'd be good at, I really take it to heart and I really step back and look at it. Okay, if I think I'm going to be good at that, I'm going to apply or try for it. And so that's what I did. I got my letters and I applied just like you. And when I got it, I felt very honored because I know they can't take just anybody. And quite frankly, there are people that are too qualified to be in there too. And so for me, I'm also the Iowa State representative for the National Home Builders Association. So I think that's definitely helped me learn about a lot about the NAHB, which is the National Home Builders Association, or just get to know more people. So whenever I'm hearing them encourage me to do this, I'm like going, okay, I'm going to do it. And honestly, I feel like already it's just expanded my knowledge and my abilities to be better at being a state rep. So I'm so grateful for that. And that was the biggest reason that I went ahead and did it, because I'm like, anything that helps me help my state or helps my locals or whatever I can do, I'm going to do what I can to be a part of it. I am learning to say no to a few things and step back from a couple of things, that because sometimes you just have to. And sometimes it's not the right fit for you. It doesn't mean it's not a great committee or program or whatever. You just can't be everywhere all the time and still build houses and still sell real estate and still be a mom and a wife and all the other things. So I'm learning to do that.
I get it. My word for 2024 was to focus. So that I can focus. So it's most important to me, prioritize and really kick butt at that and not spread myself so thin and say yes, yes, yes to everything, which I think in the beginning of your career is a really good thing, to say yes to as many things as you possibly can. And when you have capacity and less responsibilities, hopefully. But then as you get older and, as you start to zoom in as to what that main thing is, it's important to focus and really zoom in on that. So you mentioned being a state rep. Again, some of our listeners may have no idea what that is. So can you give us a quick overview of what does it mean to be a state rep and what are some of your responsibilities with that?
Sure. So I was blessed to be nominated by my state group of people, the state board, to represent Iowa at the National Home Builders Association. So essentially, I am the liaison between all of our locals across our state and then our state board and the National Home Builders Association. So you go and you basically take any issues or anything that's worked great, you take it and you share it with other state reps at the state rep meetings, and you learn and you bring stuff back and you share stuff. And I feel my job is to make sure that all of our locals have everything that they need to be successful through membership, through workforce development, all that stuff. Iowa is a huge workforce development state. I'm so proud to be part of this state because of that. They really are leading the way. And I couldn't be more proud of the state for doing that with all our Build My Future events, and just workforce development as a whole is just really great. And so getting to share that at a national level is awesome. Legislatively and advocacy is another big thing that we do both at the state and the national level. So it's interesting how I've learned that some states have terrible luck getting things passed, and some states have great luck at getting stuff passed. And it all has to do with who your legislators are, and how it's not even a matter of how hard you work, because a lot of people work very hard and it just doesn't work out for their associations to get things passed the way they need them to. So I would say that's a big piece, is that I get to be a part of that, and then I get to go and hear what's happening at national, bring that back, and I get to vote. That's another big thing. I'm as a state representative, you are a board member of the National Home Builders Association. So I get a vote for my state for the things that we feel are important, and making hopefully our association better, and just our federation better, and just home building as a whole better and more affordable, right? Because we need affordable housing and we're going in the wrong direction every time we turn around. It's awesome to get to do that. And I feel very blessed to represent Iowa and the National Home Builders Association by doing that.
Mhm. So, Steph, you mentioned advocacy. So, one of the things that we can participate in, and is probably one of the biggest advocacy event of the year, is to be part of the legislative conference, which is coming up on June. So, it's going to be part of the spring leadership meetings in DC from June 10th to June 14th. And I believe the conference is on the 12th. So, tell us a little bit about your experience going to the spring leadership meetings in DC, and specifically about the legislative conference.
Okay, so I this is one of my favorites because I feel like it's the one that we get the most done, right? It's all the other meetings we get stuff done, but because IBS has so much else going on, there's so much to learn, and it's all this great stuff to be with and be with our friends and stuff. But here it is very focused on advocacy, and that is so important with keeping our costs and making our homes more affordable. And it is the heart of our industry. If we don't fight for it, we're never going to have affordable housing, and or even workforce development, because that's the other thing that sometimes comes along with legislative. But what I love is that you get to go and you can attend every meeting, any meeting you want to, pretty much. There's only a couple that are closed, and those are for high level people, things that most of us, no offense, wouldn't necessarily be a part of anyway. We don't really, it's not that we don't care, but it's that they're doing it because that's their job and we're going to do the other stuff. So it's awesome. You can go to membership and learn ideas about membership, how other people are growing their memberships, or what didn't work for somebody else. You can go to workforce development. You can go to the codes. You can go to legislative meetings and hear about what's happening across the country. You can go to associate. If you're an associate, there's a whole associates group that you can go and be a part of. Young professionals, which I know you've been a part of for a while. And that's such an awesome group, because we need you. We need those next generations coming, and we need to grow that in order to fill our workforce development duties and goals. There's just so much to go and do. And plus, just the networking, just having the mentorship. And there's nothing like walking up to somebody who is similar to you, and you can talk about something that's going on in your world, what you're dealing with, and they understand. They don't have to be a builder to understand it either. And I don't have to be an associate to understand what they're going through. We all get it, because it takes all of us, right, to build houses and to get stuff
We all
done.
build, right?
Yes, we all build. So it takes all of us. So it's just a great place. Developers, there's a developers council, there's a single family building, there's all kinds of councils that people can go to. But I will say, of all of that, my other really favorite one is Hill Day, Capitol Hill Day, when we actually get together and go and visit our legislators at the Capitol of the United States and sit with them and say, hey, we need your help with this. Or, hey, thank you for helping us with that, because it worked and we got it through and now we're on this track. Or, hey, we need more help with this. Or just whatever. But it's just, there's nothing more. I swear it's the most meaningful thing to walk into that building. And especially if you go into the old chambers, how they have that, and you go in there and you're just like, there's bullet holes from being attacked, and you're just like, this is where it all began. It just feels so special. It's so right for us to be there fighting for the American dream, where the American dreams were all realized in rooms just like that. And so it's just a super cool thing. And I encourage anybody that gets the opportunity to go and experience that, to go and experience it. You will not regret it. It really is just that special.
Yes, I absolutely love the Hill Day. I think it is so inspiring. It's just a great experience. If you've never done it, I would say you've got to just do it just once, just to see what it's all about. You will not regret it for sure. And if you guys want to find out more about Spring Leadership or Legislative Conference, all you have to do is just go to nhb.org and search Spring Leadership Meetings 2024, and that information will come up for you so you can see how to register, all the hotel information, and all the details. And we would love to see you there. Now, Steph, it seems like you're involved with so many things, from the local to your state to the national level. And it's obviously a huge time commitment on top of you being a builder, a realtor, a mother, a wife, and all the things that you do. So why do you do it? Why do you invest all this time and keep showing up?
I'm blessed that my kids are grown now, so that's helpful. Even though I still want to spend time with them, it's fun spending time with your grown children. They're a lot of fun now. But and my husband and I are empty nesters, so we fit into our own little molds now. But I'm blessed to have that so that I can give more of myself at this level. And my I'm amazed at how supportive he is. But I think it's because he sees the passion and how much I love it. And the biggest reason that I do what I do is because I feel like it matters. It matters. It matters not just to me, but it matters to the building industry. It matters to some little girl out there to see someone like her. And it matters to even the boys out there who are being encouraged to come into our industry. I do it to build up the new generations, to it really, I love, and I also do it because I love working with my clients. There's nothing more fulfilling than getting to take a vision in their head and then create it to where we are now into a place that they get to call home and raise their families or whatever it is they're going to do there. And that's an amazing feeling and feat all in and of itself. And so that, I would say those are probably the biggest reasons I do it. The reason I'm involved in a bunch of different committees and things like that. I'm on membership committee. Obviously I'm state rep. I just got selected or appointed to nominations committee, which is a 4-year commitment at the National Home Builders Association. And I feel very blessed to have that honor. And then there's obviously our leadership academy and things like that. And the reason that I do these things and I do stuff at my local level, like workforce development and help out where I can, is because I believe in it. And I believe that if I'm not going to do it, then it's not going to get done. I just am that person that somebody has to do it. And instead of just asking somebody to do it, set the example, be the example that people can see. And so
And
that's why I do what I do.
And I feel personally grateful for all the things that you do for us. And I'm sure you feel that from everybody. So
Yes.
thank you for your commitment and for the devotion for everything you do. It makes a difference. And so, Steph, as we wrap up today's podcast, today's conversation, was there anything that I didn't ask you or we didn't talk about, whether it's about you, your business, or related to all the things NAHB that you think is important for our listeners to understand?
I would just say, first off, once again, thank you for having me. It's been an amazing opportunity. So thank you. I would say if you are not part of an HBA, Home Builder Association, go find a local. It doesn't matter. Even if you are not a builder or a remodeler, you can be a real estate agent. You can be a designer. You can be a supplier. You can be a contractor. You can be just somebody who wants to be a part.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, you can be anybody that just wants to be a part of our group, that wants to support us in our goals. And I would say those of you that are members, if you're not doing things within your HBA, you're not tapping into the potential of what your local, state, and national HBAs can do for you. And I highly recommend that you get involved. I highly recommend that you look at the National Association too, as places to serve, as places to go and learn and get involved. And most importantly, if you do nothing else, support the future generations, get them involved, offer scholarships, work with them, help them know, spread the word. Hey, did you know that You could be a contractor, or you can go and do this. We are a dying workforce. We're over 55 is our average age
Mhm.
for contractors and stuff. We're going to be done if we don't keep fighting. We have to make sure that the youth of today know that these opportunities are there. And then with that being said, if I got one thing to say to parents, college is great, but it's not for everyone. And that's okay. So encourage your kids to do something honorable and great, like building houses and helping us build our houses and helping with the American dream. Let them get involved. Let them try different things. They earn while they learn, as opposed to having a lot of debt. And some people make some really great money.
Really great money. It's a very
Yes,
lucrative career to be in. So yeah, I am on the same page with you. And when it's time for my boys to decide whether they want to go to college or whatnot, like I'm not just talking to them about that option where I feel like with my parents, it was the only option that,
sure.
that was it. So thank you so much for, again, for bringing that message back. I'm on the same page with you. Encourage everybody to expand their options, especially with AI coming. Like AI is taking all the white collar jobs. So blue collar is a great place to be at. It's going to be a while before all the robots are coming to help our workforce development there. So Steph, thank you so much for being on today's podcast. Now, if somebody wants to connect with you personally, whether maybe they're looking to build a home and they're in Iowa, what's the place where they can find you? Is it social media, website? Plug it. Tell us where you hang out.
They can contact me on LinkedIn is a great place. Just Steph Reed on there, and it just says, I believe it says owner of Partners by Design Homes, and you can find me there, or you can find me on Facebook. I'm all over the place, but any of those places would be fine. Feel free to message me. I would like it more if they messaged me and said that they saw me here or that they want to know more. So that way I make sure to help them and not just overlook them or whatever, or just include them as a friend, that I actually connect deeper with them if that's what they desire.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Steph, for being on today's podcast. I really appreciate sharing your story. It is so inspiring. I hope that you guys enjoyed listening to this. And again, whether you're a woman, man, whatever, if you want to go out there and start building homes and become a home builder, look, it's possible, right? Steph is the testament to that. And again, there's lots of support in all things on your local level, your state level, and the national level. So get involved. That is my one advice to you, is just come and see what it's all about. And you can do as little or as much as you want. If you want to be Steph Reed and do it all, or you can just come in and sit on meetings and just listen to see what's going on. I am looking forward to seeing you in person in June at the coming spring leadership meetings and a legislative conference. And of course, we're going to be spending a half a day together during the NAHB Leadership Academy at the same time as well. So I will see you then. And thank you again for being on today's podcast.
Thank you, Anya. Take care. And you're inspiring too. So thank you for all that you do.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.